Okay, Game Art students, in this video we're going to create a blueprint to be a checkpoint to set a new place in the level that you will respawn from, so the player can have a sense of progress and not have to start from the beginning every time. So we already have quite a bit set up with our respawn blueprint and the fact that we're saving our respawn location in the player, so we can go right ahead and right click and choose Blueprint Class, Actor, and this time choose BP underscore checkpoint. Once again, we're going to double click to open it. And just like with the respawn zone, we are going to add a collision box. And I'm going to call this checkpoint zone. Our code for the event graph is going to be very similar to what we did for the respawn. I'm going to scroll down on my collision box and choose On Component Begin Overlap. And once again, I'm going to drag out of Other Actor. I'm just going to type the word third, because I know that's going to get me right to cast to third-person character. Now, when we think about what happens, the respawn zone already handles the teleporting. So a checkpoint doesn't have to do that. What our checkpoint has to do is change this respawn location variable that we initially made at game start and that we're storing in the player. Luckily, because we're casting, we can access that variable. So this time, as we pull out of the third-person character and type respawn, we are going to set the respawn location instead of get it. We're going to set it to a new number. Now, we could manually look up these numbers based on where they were in the level, but my favorite thing to do is just do it based on where the checkpoint is. So once again, I'm going to right-click out here in space and choose Get Actor Location, which is the checkpoint's location, and we're going to connect that, saving it as the new respawn location for the character. If I compile and save, this will work, but there is a little hiccup I want to show you. I'm going to put my first checkpoint here on this platform, and I'm going to make it big enough that it covers the platform. Now, as far as this blueprint is concerned, its location is that route there. So when it fires its code, the new respawn location is going to be this route right here. If I try this, you may notice that sometimes it doesn't work. Here it did because it figured out. But if my platform was, for example, much thicker, this might not work. It did here once again, but in a lot of times it doesn't. And what's important to remember is when it's setting this as my new teleport location, it's going to teleport my character directly there to that spot. Depending on the shape and size of the checkpoint you have them jumping in, it may end up having your character in a floor or in a wall, and it won't work. Let me show you what I mean. So if I grab this rig here and bring it in, if, for example, my box is such a way that the center of the box is down in here, when it tries to teleport the character, it's going to fail, and you're going to keep falling through the respawn. So you just have to make sure that, in this case, that center that I've created lines up with where my character is going to be. For example, if I push this down, even if I scale it so it's bigger, but so the root is inside the bottom of this box, if I've hit that respawn, my new checkpoint is now inside the box, which is no longer a valid place for me to teleport to. The cool part about this checkpoint code is that it's extremely easy for me to make a second checkpoint, because all I need to do is copy my existing one using Alt and put it at the next place I want the player to be. This now means if I hit the first checkpoint and fall off, I'm saved. And if I manage to get the second one, I've now set this as my new checkpoint. One last side effect of this is if I go back to this middle checkpoint, it will set that as my new checkpoint again. If you don't want that and want your checkpoints to be one time only so that it always is going forward, you can add an additional node here in your checkpoint called do once. If you have this node in here, now it will only set that checkpoint as your new checkpoint once, and if you go further along, each new checkpoint will take precedence overriding the previous one permanently.